So hello everyone, good evening guys. Today we are going to discuss one of the important topic that's from the GS part and specifically from the bio part, and the topic is glands and hormones. So guys, what are these hormones? These are basically the chemicals. So these chemicals might be generated from some location, right? So what is that location? This location is known as glands. So yes, glands are basically of two different types. One is endocrine and another one is exocrine. So exocrine gland is the one from where enzymes are secreted, and endocrine are the ones from where hormones are secreted. So let's have a look at the topic, and the topic is basically your chemical coordination and integration. And if I talk about this chemical, so this is basically hormone that I'm talking about, and these hormones are secreted from these locations. So these are the glands, where the gland which is above kidney, that's adrenal. The gland which is in our brain, that's hypothalamus. Then there is pineal, which is the smallest gland. There's also pituitary gland, from where growth hormone is secreted. So let's understand about all those things which are important for examination, and also they are very relevant. So let's start with the topic. So first of all, if I talk about the endocrine system, so yes, this is the system from which the hormones are secreted, right? So let's have a look. These are the glands that I was talking about. So guys, here the glands that are present. First of all, this is the thyroid gland, which is the largest endocrine gland within our body. Apart from that, we have pancreas, from where pancreatic juice is secreted. Then above kidney, these are the adrenal glands, right? From where emergency hormones like 3F hormone, that is fear, fight and flight, are secreted. So these are actually the endocrine glands from where the hormones will be secreted. So it's here. So it includes the endocrine glands and their secretions that are hormones. We have discussed about this. Now, hormones are what? So they are non-nutrient chemicals that act as an intercellular messenger and are produced in the trace amounts. But they are very important. Like if I talk about my body's growth, that's done by growth hormone, which is secreted by the pituitary gland, and that's the part of our brain. So let's have a look at it. So endocrine glands includes hypothalamus, that is the part of the brain. Then we have pituitary, pineal, which is the smallest gland, thyroid gland, which is the largest endocrine gland. Then we have parathyroid, which is situated above thyroid, thymus, which is known as aging gland, because as we grow, this gland keeps on decreasing. Then we have adrenal gland, which is above kidneys, pancreas, from where pancreatic juice is secreted, gonads, that is in the male it's testes, and in the females it's ovaries. So yep, we are talking about the human endocrine system. So here we have all those glands. So hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, everything is mentioned at which location which gland is present. So I guess this section is clear. And if you have any doubt, or if you want any doubts, if you have any doubts, if you have any questions or queries, you can just let me know live here. Fine. Okay. So proceeding further. Now, as talking about this human endocrine system, one by one we'll discuss about all those glands which are important. So first of all, let's talk about the part of the brain that is hypothalamus, and this is the part of the brain that deals with the hunger, thirst, pain, yes, even love and affection. All those parts are dealt by this hypothalamus only. So that's the part of the brain, and within the brain you can find this section, that is the smallest part of the brain, that's the hypothalamus. Well, it's very small part of the brain, but it's very important. So it's the neurosecretory cells of hypothalamus that secretes different type of hormones. What kind of hormones? So the number one is releasing hormone, then second one is inhibiting hormone, the third one is oxytocin and vasopressin, right? So these are the types of hormones. Now here, if I talk about this section, now guys, one by one let's have a look at it. So guys, if I talk about this section, this is known as pituitary gland. Where is it? That's also there in our brain only. And this pituitary gland, from here growth hormone is actually secreted. So hypothalamus is actually the master of this gland. So hypothalamus, that's known as the master of the master gland. So releasing hormones, so it stimulates secretion of the pituitary hormones like GnRH, that is gonadotrophin releasing hormone. It stimulates the release of gonadotrophins from the pituitary. Then we have inhibiting hormones, which inhibit secretion of the pituitary hormones. So we have example like somatostatin. What it does? So that releases the growth hormone, because of which our body's height actually increases. Then we have oxytocin, which is also known as love hormone. So oxytocin, vasopressin. So these are transported externally and stored in the pituitary. Acha, this vasopressin is also known as ADH hormone, that is anti-diuretic hormone, which maintains the water level in our body. Fine. Proceeding further. So in the human endocrine system, let's go with the pituitary gland now. So yes, that's also the part of the brain only, but it functions in a way that it controls all the other endocrine glands, and that's what is known as master gland. So it will be mentioned here. So it is located in the bony cavity that is known as sella turcica. Here it is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk. So just see, this is the hypothalamus section and this is the pituitary gland. So that is the posterior pituitary, this is the anterior pituitary, and here that's attached with the stalk that I was talking about. So that's done. Proceeding further. So if I talk about the parts of pituitary, so these are the parts of pituitary, anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary. So see, this is the anterior part and this is the posterior part. Now what's the difference there? What kind of hormones are secreted? What's the difference in them? That's important to understand. So first of all, let's go with the first section, that is the anterior pituitary. In that we'll discuss about the pars distalis. So here that's the pars distalis part. Here it produces the different type of hormones, and the hormones are like, first of all we can talk about the growth hormone that is known as somatotrophin, which gives us the growth, that is the height of a person is determined by this particular hormone only. Then what's the next one? The next one is prolactin. So from this lactin term you can actually link it with the lactic acid. One second. Yeah, so this lactin term can be linked with the lactic acid. And where is this acid present? So this acid is actually present in our milk, right? This acid is present in the milk. So from that part you can actually link it. What is it? So this is the section actually which is helping in the production of the milk. Then what's the next part? Then we have thyroid stimulating hormone, then adenocorticotropic hormone, that is ACTH. After that we have follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. So they all are actually secreted from this part only. And guys, wherever you feel like you have any doubts, any questions, any queries, do not hesitate. Please keep on asking. Fine, because these things are very important and do not miss them. Okay, so that's it. I guess these things are not clearly visible now. So one second. Please check and tell me, are you able to see the screen now clearly? Okay, so this is done. Next. So talking about the somatotrophin or the growth hormone, as discussed, it was helping in the growth of the body, right? So it is important for the body's growth. Over secretion of growth hormone causes gigantism. That means the height will be more, and we can actually link it with the gigantism, or we can say the height is more. But if it is lesser, so we'll say that's dwarfism. So yep, hyposecretion of the growth hormone leads to dwarfism, that is the stunted growth. So here is the perfect example for the same. So here you can just see the image. So he is Sultan Kosa, who is having the height of 8 feet and 1 inches, and the dwarfism example is in front of you, that is he Ping Ping, whose height is just 2 feet 5.37 inches. So this is the perfect example of gigantism and dwarfism. Understood? Great. So this part is also sorted. Now proceeding further. Now guys, here we have discussed about it. So the issue that is because of the over secretion of growth hormone, that is acromegaly. Okay, so guys, it's difficult to diagnose this in the early stages. So here you can just see the images, and they all are suffering from acromegaly only, right? Okay. Now guys, the next one is prolactin. As discussed, we can link it with the lactic acid. So that's linked with the milk basically. So it regulates the growth of mammary glands and milk production. Thyroid stimulating hormone. So it stimulates the secretion of the thyroid hormone from the thyroid gland, and ACTH. So it stimulates the synthesis and the secretion of steroid hormones from adrenal cortex. So in short, we can just say that adrenal gland is the one that is controlling all the other glands. So that's why it was known as master gland. So see, thyroid gland, if it is not working properly, so there will be swelling in it. That's known as, sorry guys, that's known as goiter, right? So here we have kidney. So above kidney we have adrenal gland, and here this is the adrenal cortex part. Here the hormones which are secreted, they are known as emergency hormones. What are they? They are known as emergency hormones. Fine. So yeah, they help us in the difficult times. Then we have follicle stimulating hormone, that is FSH. So it stimulates the gonadal activity. So in males, FSH and androgens regulate the sperm formation, and the formation of the sperm is known as spermatogenesis. Similarly, the formation of egg cell or the ovum is linked with the oogenesis, that's there in the females. So in females, FSH stimulates the growth and development of the ovarian follicles. So here the seminiferous tubules, which is there in the male section. So here if I talk about the female, so that's helping in this ovarian follicle, right, its development. Then talking about the luteinizing hormone, so it again stimulates the gonadal activity. So in males it stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the androgens from the testes. Testes are the primary sex organs of the males from where sperms are generated, and for the females it induces the ovulation and maintains the corpus luteum. But if corpus in the absence of the fertilization, what happens to this corpus luteum? So you must remember, in the absence of the fertilization, this corpus luteum actually degenerates. Okay, that's great. So guys, wherever you feel like, I am again and again repeating this because see, you will find me every day at 5 p.m. here at this channel. So first of all, subscribe this channel, and the second thing is, today we are taking this chapter, that is glands and hormones. Tomorrow we'll have another chapter, the after tomorrow another chapter. After 3 days, when we'll complete this theory section, on the Friday at the same time at the 5 p.m. we'll discuss all those questions which are important from this chapter, and also I am preparing the free EDF for you, free ebook for you people, and in that ebook you will find the questions not only in English language but also in the bilingual form, that is in the Hindi language too, and also you'll get the detailed explanation after every question. So that will be totally free of cost, but you need to go with the these classes because these classes will be very important. Even if you're not there in the paid batch, even if you're not referring any textbooks, these will be sufficient for your both RRB and SSC examinations. So that's why I'm taking these sessions. It's the humble request, be regular, and in the comment section after the class just let me know, are you following these classes, and then we'll decide so how long we can keep it. And I just wanted, I'll complete the whole syllabus, but I need your support here. Okay, so that's all. Proceeding further now guys, so we have discussed about this part, right? Then we have pars intermedia. So pars intermedia, that's just in between, you can just see in this center location. So in humans it's almost merged with the pars distilis, right, that is this portion. It produces the melanocyte stimulating hormone. Now guys, what are these melanocytes? So guys, are you aware of this hormone that is melanin? Do you know what melanin does? Melanin is a hormone that gives the color to the body. Yeah. So you might have seen Britishers, they are basically fair in color. We people are brown in color, and if we'll go towards Africa, you will find the dark color. That's all because of melanin, right? So melanin is the one that determines the color of the body. So MSH acts on melanocytes to regulate the skin pigmentation that I was talking about. Okay, so yes, these are melanocytes, these are the melanins, and they are defining the color of the skin. So whether it will be dark, it will be fair, everything is decided here. Okay, next, so it stores oxytocin and vasopressin, that is the hormones of the hypothalamus. Oxytocin is also known as love hormone. That's again and again asked in the examination, so you must remember, what is it? Oxytocin is also known as love hormone. What is it? Oxytocin is also known as love hormone. So it contracts the smooth muscles. In females, stimulates the contraction of the uterus at the time of childbirth and milk ejection from the mammary glands. So guys, yes, for the milk ejection and for the contraction of uterus during the childbirth, this oxytocin hormone works in the proper way. So the functioning of the hormones is very important. If they are functioning in the proper way, you will be healthy. If there is any abnormality, over secretion or under secretion, both the cases can create different types of issues, right? Okay, so that's also done. Proceeding further. So yeah, this is done. So yes, we were talking about the uterine muscle. So this is the uterine muscle because as we know, when these 9 months of development takes place, that is, we are talking about the embryogenesis. So that embryogenesis cycle takes place for the 9 months in the uterus, but during the childbirth, this uterus contraction is important, right? So this contraction relaxation that is held by this because of this oxytocin only, and even the milk secretion that's done by with the help of this. But the creation of the milk was not done by oxytocin, that was done by lactic. From that part you can link it with what? So guys, if you remember, we have linked with the prolactin, right? So that was with the milk's production, milk ejection, that's why oxytocin. Then neurohypophysis. So guys, from this neuro part you can actually link with the neurology, that's linked with the study of neurons, sorry, the study of kidney. So yes, if I'll talk about the kidney, so what is its basic functioning? Its basic functioning is the filtering of the blood. So when blood filtering is done, all the waste products are actually filtered out. So here it stimulates the reabsorption of water and electrolytes by DCT of the kidney and thereby reduces the diuresis, that is the loss of water through urine. Now guys, if I'm talking about this vasopressin, please remember that's also known as ADH. What is it? Anti-diuretic hormone. So these names are not that complex. The only thing is how you are able to link it. That's important. Fine. Okay. So deficiency of ADH results in the diminished ability of the kidney to conserve water, which leads to the water loss and dehydration, and that's known as diabetes insipidus. So guys, we have two different type of diabetes: diabetes insipidus, diabetes mellitus. So diabetes insipidus is the one in which the water is not conserved in our body, right? And diabetes mellitus is the one in which the glucagon's level increases, because of which insulin is not able to maintain that glucose level, right? So that's diabetes mellitus. This is diabetes insipidus. So these things are important. I guess there's some comment from the candidate. Let me check. So Vishal is saying, Acha, thank you Vishal. Thanks a lot for that. Okay, so I'm continuing that. So you can join daily at 5 p.m. Fine. Okay, so I was actually discussing about this part. So I guess this section is also clear. So in the pituitary gland, we were talking about vasopressin. So vasopressin is actually helping in the maintenance of water. Okay, next. So now guys, that's the image that is actually trying to tell you whenever you are drinking water, the body was unable to retain the water, because of which we have to go for the urination again and again. That's the point. So that was about the pituitary gland. Now it's the time to understand about the smallest gland that is present in our body, and the smallest gland that is present in our body is pineal gland. So where is it located? Pineal gland is actually located in the brain part, and this helps in maintaining the biological clock. Now you must be wondering, sir, what is biological clock? So here I'll give you the example. Let's say I'll tell about my sleep cycle. You can even tell your sleeping cycle. I actually sleep at 10 to 11 p.m. and I generally wake between 5 to 6, right? So now that's the sleep cycle that is maintained by my body. Now let's say your examination is there, right? And I have to take marathon session early morning. Let's say I am planning to take the marathon session at 5 in the morning. So obviously I'll wake up at 4. So for that, what I'll do, I'll use the alarm clock. Now I use alarm clock for the first day. At 4 I woke up. Then second day again I woke up at 4. And I continued this process till 21 days. And on the 22nd day I forgot to put the alarm. Now what do you think? I'll wake up at the normal time duration that I used to wake up 21 days back, or now I'll wake up at 4 p.m. only, sorry 4 a.m. only, which is because of the alarm. So you'll say, sir, now you'll start to wake up at 4 because now your biological clock is actually set according to that timing. So this is done by what? So that's done by pineal gland, but the hormone that is helping in maintaining this biological clock or biological sleep cycle, that is known as melatonin. So that's the hormone. Okay. So let's have a look. So it's talking about the biological clock. So our sleep cycle is actually maintained by this melatonin only. So it is the smallest endocrine gland. It is located on the dorsal end of the forebrain. So that's the pineal gland, right? Then it secretes melatonin, that's the hormone we have already discussed. Then what are the functions? It regulates the diurnal, that is 24-hour rhythm of the body. It can be sleep-wake cycle, it can be body's temperature. So it's dealt by melatonin only. It also influences the metabolism, pigmentation, and the menstruational cycle. Okay. It also influences our defense capability. So that's all done because of this melatonin, and that is secreted by pineal gland. Fine. What's the next gland? Next gland is thyroid. So thyroid is actually the largest gland which is present in our body. It's there at this portion, it is our neck, and the hormones which are secreted here, they can be linked with the thyroxine. So that is the hormone which is secreted here. So one second. This is the thyroid gland, and above thyroid this is parathyroid. So I'll just take next 5 minutes for the same. So that's the largest endocrine gland. It includes 2 lobes located on the either side of the trachea. The lobes are interconnected with the thymus. Thyroid gland is the composed of follicles and stromal tissues. So see, that's the dorsal, that's the ventral side, and here it's connected here. So this is thyroid. That's the trachea. That is, we can say that's a windpipe. And above thyroid, there are 4 dot-like structures. They are known as parathyroid glands that maintains the blood calcium level. Okay. Now, this is the isthmus region that we were talking about. This portion, that's the isthmus region. What are the name of those particular hormones? So that's thyroxine as discussed and T3, and also we have thyrocalcitonin. So first of all, thyroxine. So see, for the better immune system, or we'll say for maintaining the healthy life, you need to have this thyroxine in the proper amount. So it regulates the BMR, that is basal metabolic rate. Apart from that, it maintains the physical, mental and sexual development, and also it supports the RBC formation. It controls metabolism of the carbohydrate protein fats. It also maintains the water and electrolyte balance. So it is actually showing that's the RBC, these are the fat cells. So it is actually helping in maintaining your immunity, or it is helping in maintaining your even reproductive cycle. Okay. Then talking about this thyrocalcitonin, from this calci term you can link it with the calcium, right? So for your healthy bones, even this is important. So it's a protein hormone that regulates the blood calcium levels. Okay. But if it is not working in the proper way, please remember iodine's content is very important in our body. If iodine will lack, it will create the issue. What kind of issue? That issue is known as goiter. And in the goiter, what happens? The swelling of the neck takes place. But in the examination, this is asked which isotope is required for the treatment of the goiter. So the isotope that is required for the treatment of the goiter is what? So that isotope is known as that is iodine 131. So I131, that is isotope of the iodine. Okay, so that's the example of goiter here. So you can just see the swelling in the neck. So yes, you need to have iodine rich food where you can have yogurt, mozzarella, milk, eggs, seaweed, cranberries, navy beans, strawberries. They all are the examples of the sources of iodine. So enlargement of the thyroid gland due to deficiency of iodine. In adult women, it causes irregular menstruation cycle. Hypothyroidism during pregnancy affects the baby, causing the stunted growth, mental retardation, low intelligence, urgent or abnormal skin, deaf mutism. They all are the part of hypothyroidism. What about hyper? So do not get confused. Hyper means more, hypo means less. So hyper means if it is extra, then what will happen? So that's here. Abnormal increase of the thyroid hormones resulting in the adverse effect on the physiological activities. It is caused due to development of the nodules or the cancer of thyroid gland. What is cancer? Cancer is nothing, just the uncontrolled cell division. So if it is actually known in the early stages, we can control that. But if it is fourth stage, so that becomes uncontrollable. Okay, so exophthalmic goiter or the Graves' disease is the form of hyperthyroidism. Here you will find that the eyes actually start to pop out. It feels like eyes are actually popping out. So I have the image also for your reference. Just have a look. See, so symptoms are the enlargement of the thyroid gland, then protrusion of the eyeballs, increased BMR and the weight loss. See, so human thyroid with the cancer nodules, that is the image of that. Now you can just see the three images, and in all the three images you can just see that eyes are actually popping out, right? So that's the example of hyperthyroidism. That's also done. Proceeding further. Next, guys, let's talk about parathyroid gland. So parathyroid gland is present on the thyroid gland in the form of 4 dots, right? So here these are the 4 dots. So these are actually the parathyroid glands. So parathyroid glands helps in maintaining the calcium level. So just have a look. So these are 4 glands present on the back side of the thyroid gland and 1 pair each in the 2 lobes of the thyroid gland. They secrete parathyroid hormone, a peptide hormone. What are the functions? So it increases the calcium level in the blood as discussed. So that is hypercalcemic hormone. It stimulates the bone reabsorption. It also stimulates the reabsorption of calcium by renal tubules and increases the calcium absorption from the digested food. So along with the TCT, it helps in the calcium balance in the body. So maintenance of calcium level is done by this particular gland, that is known as parathyroid gland. Okay, so this is also done. Now guys, talking about the thymus gland. The thymus gland is actually present in our chest, but what's so special about it? See, it helps in maintaining the immunity. That's the one thing. But as we grow older, this gland size keeps on decreasing. And yes, by the age we reach 70 or 65 years, this becomes thread-like structure. That is, its size actually keeps on decreasing. That's why it is also known as aging gland. So more about it. A bilobed gland located within the lungs behind sternum on the ventral side of the aorta. What is sternum? So that's the breastbone. So this is the bone which is present here. and all the ribs are actually connected at this particular location only. Okay, now so it secretes the thymocynes. What are the function of thymocyne? So differentiation of T lymphocytes which provide cell mediated immunity. It promotes antibody production of the humoral immunity. Then thymus is degenerated in the old individual, so the production of thymosin decreases. As a result, immune response of the old person becomes weak, and that's why old people again and again they are affected by some of the infections. So that's the reason behind it. Then we have adrenal gland. So adrenal gland is present above the kidney. That's the adrenal gland, and this gland actually secretes the epinephrine and norepinephrine. That is, we can say adrenaline and noradrenaline hormones, which are known as fear, fight, and flight hormones. So it has two parts: adrenal cortex, that is the outer part, and then medulla, that is the inner part. So in the adrenal cortex, you will find three layers. It is zona reticularis, zona fasciculata, and then zona glomerulosa. So these are the three layers here. It produces the corticoid hormones like glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids. Then if I talk about glucocorticoids, so it's involved in the carbohydrate metabolism. You can actually link it with the glucose. That would be the easiest part. So it stimulates the gluconeogenesis, then lipolysis, then we have proteolysis. So gluconeogenesis, then lipolysis and proteolysis, these are actually stimulated from this. It inhibits the cellular uptake and utilization of the amino acids. What about others? So if I'll talk about the next part, that is mineralocorticoid. From name itself, it is clear we are talking about minerals. So it regulates the water electrolytic balance, osmotic pressure, and the blood pressure. Then androgenic corticoids. So it affects the growth of axial hair, pubic hair, and facial hair during the puberty. So as we know, during the puberty age, there are certain locations from where the hairs start to develop. So that's because of this particular part only. Then in this adrenal cortex, deficiency of corticoid hormones affects the carbohydrate metabolism. It causes acute weakness and fatigue. This condition is known as Addison's disease, and here's the example for you people. Okay, now talking about adrenal medulla. So as you might have heard about the 3F hormone. What is that? Fear, fight, and flight. So during the emergency situations, the adrenaline hormone which is secreted, that's secreted from this location only, that is adrenal medulla. And where is this adrenal gland present? Adrenal gland is present above kidney. So adrenal medulla, it produces catecholamine hormones like adrenaline and noradrenaline, which may be which can be asked in the examination in the form of epinephrine and norepinephrine. So here they are rapidly secreted in the response to stress emergency situations. So they are known as emergency hormones, and they are also known as the hormones of fight or flight, or rather we can say that they are 3F hormones. So these were the important glands and their hormones, which are again and again repeatedly asked in the examinations. So be ready with this section. And yes, here I complete my hormones part. In the next class, that is tomorrow at 5 p.m, we'll have another topic, and after tomorrow also we'll have another topic. And on Friday, all those questions which were asked in the examinations previously, we'll have a set of that, and also the most expected question set that we are going to discuss on the Friday at 5 p.m. So that's all from my end. In the comment section after the class, please let me know, do you want this series to be continued? If yes, please let me know in the comment section. Also, are you liking the series? I'll be waiting for you all in the comment section for the same. And one more thing, if you want to go with the paid batches, you can actually click on the Oliveboard. So the first link that pops up, you'll just click here. And right now, 55% off is going on all the SSC subscriptions. You can enroll now with using the code SUPER, right? So here you will have mocks, PYPs, live test, detailed solution analysis, everything is here. So you can use this code SUPER. Apart from that, you can also have SSC plus Railway Super Elite batch, in which we have classes for both English and Hindi medium. Here you have live classes, test, and also the mocks, even the recorded classes. So everything is present here. For this, you can click on the enroll now option, and you have the code SUPER as discussed, and you will get the 59% off. That's all from my end. Please let me know in the comment section, should we continue this series, and are you liking this part? So thank you guys for being such a good audience. We'll meet in the next class. And bye bye guys, take care, Jai Hind, love you all the very best for the examination. So thank you Vishal, thank you so much.